Shalom, brothers and sisters. Grace, mercy, and peace be unto you from Yahuwah the Father and Yahusha our Mashiach, his Son. Hear, O Yasharal, Yahuwah our Mighty One is one Yahuwah. This is Brother David coming to you again to bring you the law, statutes, judgments, and commandments of Yahuwah. And we're starting at Deuteronomy 28, and this is part 4. Do you believe it's you? Do you see how accurate this book is? This is why I'm putting so much time and effort into this. This shows that you are the children of Yasharal. These curses, they point directly at you. No other group of people around the world have experienced this but us. Do you see how the Europeans made us into a proverb and a byword? Commercials, songs. They made lullabies about you being a nigger. This has never been heard of in the history of this planet. A group of people destroying another group of people because of their ethnicity, not because they did anything wrong. It's just because of the color of your skin. And for those that are more enlightened than the other Europeans, they're doing this because as long as they keep you down, stupid, dumb, their time continues. If you want to end their reign, don't pick up a gun. Don't pick up a knife. Don't go out to protest. All of these things are a waste of time. If you want to end their reign, return to Yahuwah. Keep his commandments, and he will turn our captivity and heal our land. Let's begin. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 38 to 44. More curses. Thou shalt carry much seed out into the field, and shall gather but little in, for the locusts shall consume it. Verse 39. Thou shalt plant vineyards and dress them, but shalt neither drink of the wine nor gather the grapes, for the worms shall eat them. Verse 40. Thou shalt have olive trees throughout all thy coast, but thou shalt not anoint thyself with the oil, for thine olive shall cast his fruit. Verse 41. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. Verse 42. All thy trees and the fruit of thy land shall the locust consume. Verse 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. Verse 44. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. Here's the creature that's going to eat up your harvest. Or in past tense, has ate up our ancestors' harvest. The cankerworm, the palmer worm, the locust. Did you know they're all the same creature? It has 4 stages: the gnawer, the swarmer, the devourer and the consumer. Same worm. He can come in at different times in different stages. And each stage, he can destroy your crops. For thine olive shall cast his fruit. Of course, because your trees are diseased. The leaves of the trees also diseased. You see, Yahuwah kept the cankerworm, the palmer worm, the locust, the diseases, all of these things off your trees, off you, off your family. You would never had experienced any of this only if we would have hearkened unto his voice. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters. Aren't they beautiful? When I saw this picture on the internet, I mean, it just got me so excited because of their smiles. I mean, the way that they're smiling, it just makes you smile. Look at the different hues. You see how beautiful a people we are? Do you see how the light hits their face and reflects off the side of their faces? That's what you call gleaming, glowing. This is what we look like. He says that we shall beget sons and daughters, but then there's a problem. He said you're not going to enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. They're not smiling anymore. They may be still glowing from the light, but they're not beautiful. They have been lowered to a subspecies. All around the world, brothers and sisters, that's all you'll see. This is how you identify our people. Now let's bring this home. Let's bring it to America. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters. See, everyone is happy here again. But he says that you will not enjoy them because they will go into captivity. This is what America is, brothers and sisters, the house of bondage. In the kingdom, there's no jail. That is a European invention. We don't have that. If you kill your brother, you're going to die right along with him. There's no reason to waste any money to house and feed people who have committed crimes. But here in America, they lock you up. Most of these guys are probably here just for having a little weed in their pocket. The stranger that is within thee, he shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. Now we're outside of the kingdom. We're in the lands of our captivity. But yet, these Arabs, they come into the black community and open their liquor stores. When I was in New York and Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, all over the place, they're always in the black communities. They don't drink alcohol. It's against their religion, but they'll sell it to you. You see, you are the stranger now. They are above you. You are beneath. When you go out to buy your vegetables, you had your vegetable stands, and these people are making money hand over fist. And we have to go to them to get our produce. That is a curse. We had lands. We had harvests. We had nothing but the best of the best. We were self-sufficient. Now we have been demoted to consumers. He has all of the businesses in our community, the nail salons. The thing that gets me is that we go to them and we spend our money with them. but they don't treat us good. What do you call a black woman that goes to a Chinese nail salon? A nigger. Remember what Jay-Z said? Even though you're a customer and you think that the customer is always right, that only applies to any other group of people than you, you are still a nigger and you will be treated as such. And they will show you that you're still a nigger. Is this the way you treat customers? You beat them up with broomsticks? You hold them hostage? Why do we patronize these people? They're in our community. We don't have these stores. And even if we did have these stores, guess what? Our people would rather come to them. That's why if a sister opens up a wig store or a hair store, everyone will gravitate towards Mr. Kim first. He's the one who's supposed to get up very high. Now do you see why this mentality exists? Because it's a curse, brothers and sisters. Our people have been trying to figure this out for years. All we had to do was look in the book. Mr. Kim is going to get up very high. You're going to come down very low. Look at Mr. Kim. He has a wig store. Look at the faces on the wigs. They're melanated. Who is the target group? The black woman. Why does he target them? They study us. They know what we like. They know what we need. They know what we want. They are making merchandise out of you. That's why they move into your community and get rich off of you. Now, if our women were keeping the commandments and keeping their hair wrapped and not putting this weave and this wig stuff and all of these things on, Mr. Kim here would be out of business. He would have no place else to go. You can't go into the white community doing this. They won't even walk into the store to see what's happening. This affects our sisters. Most of our sisters have to wear this because they have another curse. They have the curse of the scab that's in their head from putting all of the weave and the chemicals for so many years. Yahuwah has cursed them with the scab. Here, they have to cover those scabs with these weaves. That's what this is all about, brothers and sisters. Just wrap your head the way Yahuwah says, and believe me, it will grow back. Stop putting the chemicals in. Wrap your head. Return back to him, and your beauty will return. Because when you go to Mr. Kim, this is what's going to happen. This is how they treat us. And still we go in to buy their products. He's wrestled our sister down to the ground and he's got her in a headlock. If this happened to a white person, they would be closed down for good and in jail. Look who came to the rescue. The Nation of Islam. Why the Nation of Islam, Brother David? Why didn't the Israelites come? We don't have that type of structure. It proves and shows exactly who we are. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high. And guess what? You shall come down very low, just like this sister in the graphic. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. Where I'm at, there's a place called Amscot. They have these cash advances to give out these loans. Look at the amount of usury that they're charging. 10%, plus a $2 verification fee per transaction. You see how you've been demoted? If you were to borrow from your brother in the kingdom, he couldn't charge you usury. Only what you borrowed is what you pay back. And if you could not pay it back within 7 years, your loan would be wiped clean. But the stranger that is amongst us, you can charge him usury. And after 7 years, you can exact it again. This is what you have been demoted to. He's the head. You are the tail. He shall come up very high. You shall come down very low. And they have all these places in our communities. Cash loans, flex loans, fast cash, knockout, payday loans, payday loan store, loans, cash on the spot. These places are everywhere in our communities. Look what they're advertising in the window. The black woman. You see how they're trying to draw you in? They know that the black woman is a high commodity. You don't see many black guys going in to get these payday loans and these loans cash on the spot. Do you know why? Because we don't have the jobs where we're getting paychecks. We're mostly hustling in the streets, starting our own business. It's the women who they're focused on. They're making merchandise out of us. He said that they shall lend to us, and we shall not lend to them. Is this true? Yes, it is. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. Of course he's the head. You're going to his nail salon. You're buying fruits and vegetables from his vegetable stand. And you're borrowing money from his loan stores. He's come up very high above you. And the Arab guy, look at his position. He's the head now. He's only been here 5 or 10 years. He started a business. He's driving a Bentley. We've been here 400 years. Our ancestors have not passed down any wealth from generation to generation. No financial security, as they call it. But this guy, 5 years, 10 years later, he's gotten up so high above us, and we wonder to ourselves, how do they do this? They do it because you are cursed. You are the merchandise. They come here from all around the world to sell to you. Now, our people believe that you can make it here, that you can get wealthy here. Paul said in the New Testament, those who seek to get rich fall into a trap and a snare of the devil. Don't seek to get rich, brothers and sisters. Seek Yahuwah. Work in order to pay your bills. If you're going to start a business, start your business so that you can pay your bills and be self-sufficient. But don't seek after their wealth, because you will fall into their trap. You will begin to worship their God. You will give up on Yahuwah because you think that you have arrived. But let me tell you something about a person in this country who thinks that they're wealthy. Really, you have absolutely nothing. First of all, you're not in your sovereign capacity. You don't have any laws. You don't make any laws. You don't enforce any laws. You're under the thumb of the Europeans. We're not self-sufficient. I don't care how much money you have. You have no laws. You're not self-sufficient. You're not growing your own crops. You have to go to supermarkets You don't own your own animals. You have to go to supermarkets. You don't have a water source. I mean, if something were to happen today and the water company gets shut down or they poison the water, you're finished. Where are you going to drink from? Well, I got money. Your dollar bill is worth nothing. Not even the ink that they use to print it. It is a falsehood. I told you we're living in the Matrix. The dollar is not backed by anything. And yet everyone is trying to obtain it. You have no electricity. You don't own any power companies. So what's going to happen when the power go out? You're going to be just like everyone else in the darkness. You don't have any military. If you don't have any military, you can't protect yourself. So anyone who says that in this America that they're rich, I don't care who they are, from Jay-Z on down, I don't care how many billions of dollars you have zero security. It's just an illusion. They want you to see an illusion of inclusion, and you think that we have arrived. No, we haven't. You still have absolutely nothing. How do you reverse this, Brother David? Turn back to Yahuwah. Keep his commandments. Have the testimony of his Mashiach, and you will live. Verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee. They're going to chase you down, and they're going to overtake you until you be destroyed. How are you destroyed? You don't know who your ancestors are. You have no history. You've been demoted to nothing but a subspecies. You believe that you're an American, a Jamaican, a Haitian. You've taken on the identity of your captors. You are destroyed. Why did this happen, Brother David? Because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of Yahuwah thy mighty one, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. The white man didn't do this. You did it. The white man was not the cause. He's the effect. He was brought in to discipline you because you would not listen. Verse 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and a wonder. What's going to be upon us, Brother David? These curses. And upon thy seed forever. This is real, brothers and sisters. That's why from generation to generation, we have not overcome. It's just gotten worse. Do you see that? It's going to be a sign and a wonder. People will look at us and says, how is it that these people are still like this today after being in this country for 400 years? So they put labels on us. They say we're lazy, and no, has nothing to do with that. Everything in this country is against you. And these curses are a sign. It identifies you. These abortions, they're a sign. It identifies us. The jail systems, how we're filling the jails, it's a sign. It identifies us. How we're killing each other every day, it's a sign. It identifies you, the children of Yasharal. The hatred of each other, this is a sign. The division that we have, it's a sign. Poverty, sickness, these are all signs that these curses are upon us. We have this badge or this tattoo in our foreheads. Slavery. Even in modern times, back 400 years. This is a sign, brothers and sisters. Being taken all around the world. Guess what? In ships? That is a sign. To be called nigger, coon, darky, criminal, hoodlum. It is a sign. What does this sign do, Brother David? It identifies you. Verse 47. Because thou servest not Yahuwah thy mighty one, with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things. He gave us everything. We had our own water source, our own land, our own cattle, our own mansions. We had the rains that came down from heaven. We had pure water. We had everything. Did we serve Yahuwah with joyfulness and gladness of heart? No. What a stiff-necked people we are. We were unthankful for the abundance that he gave us. So what is the penalty? Verse 48. Therefore thou shalt serve thine enemies which Yahuwah shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck, until he have destroyed thee. That's why this happened. That's why you were chained in the bottom of ships. You were the head and not the tail. But look, now you're lying in your own feces. This picture really touched my heart. Look at the whip. The whip, you see the blood in the air, stripping the flesh off of our brother. But what really got me was this young lady. She's got her baby and her small child together with her. Look what she's doing. She's jumping ship. She would rather drown her babies than to endure this pain from these evil people that Yahuwah sent against us. He told us this would happen. In hunger, in thirst, in nakedness, in want of all things. Kings, princes, powerful men demoted to this. The queens, the daughters of Zion, demoted to this. He shall put a yoke of iron around your neck until you are destroyed. Verse 49. Yahuwah shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. Verse 50. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young. Verse 51. And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle, the fruit of thy land, until thou be destroyed, which also should not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or increase of thy kine, or flocks of thy sheep, until he hath destroyed thee. These are the ones who took your stuff. And verse 52, and he shall besiege thee in all thy gates, until thy high and fenced walls come down wherein thou trustest. We thought we were safe throughout all thy land, And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout all thy land, which Yahuwah thy mighty one have given thee. Verse 53. And thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body, the flesh of thy sons, and the flesh of thy daughters, which Yahuwah thy mighty one have given thee, in the siege, and in the straitness, wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee. First, Alexander the Great and his hordes came in. More cruel, more evil than anything that we've ever seen before. They were immersed in battle and killing. They loved it. They sought glory and honor in their death on the battlefield. How do you fight against something like that? Then he brought the Romans in. More cruel than any people on the planet. We're under them still to this day. A nation of fierce continents, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor for the young. Look at this graphic here. See the slave masters beating the old man? Look what he has on his chest, DNC, Democrats. Look what the old man has on, Make America Great Again. What are they telling you in this picture? I don't care which party you go to. You're still going to be a slave. You're going back to the plantation, boy. If you think that you're a part of this country, and what shows that you are a part of this country is that you will vote. If this is your behavior, if you think that you voting is going to change something here or for you, you're in a strong delusion still. You're still asleep. You can't have one foot in and one foot out. This is a lie from the pits of hell. Have no parts in their politics. In self-defense. Does this tell you the story? Now, this cartoon is from 1876. He says that these people have a fierce countenance. We know that to be true. They don't regard the old people. We just shown that. Nor show favor to the young. They will blow your babies down. They will kill them, murder them in the streets. Why? You're a threat to them. If you can read what it says on the bottom, if I hadn't killed you, you would grow up to rule me. They know this. They know that their time is short. If you return back to Yahuwah, keep his commandments, have the testimony of our Mashiach, spread this message to everyone that you can get in contact with, you will hasten their demise. If you want to fight back, Black Lives Matters is not going to do it. Voting is not going to do it. Protest, not going to do it. Hate, picking up guns and knives and going out to fight is not going to do it. But if you turn back to Yahuwah, their time is up. That is our power. Take back your power. Once you return to him, this will never happen again in history. And he shall eat the fruit of thy land, of thy cattle, of thy kine, all your substance. This nation is going to eat up. These Romans, whether it be past or present, They're going to eat up your labors. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates. This is the siege of Lachish. They put this on the walls in Sennacherib's palace. Look at the Assyrians climbing up the walls. Look at their battlements. I mean, they really put a lot of effort into this just to show you how they besieged the children of Israel, Yasharal. This was important. If you destroy the Israelites, you beat them down. In the Assyrians' mind, you've also defeated their God. Look what you were demoted to. Hold it 1 second. There's something wrong with this picture here, this graphic. This is depicting the children of Yasharal coming to bow before Sennacherib. Something's wrong with this because I don't see anyone with long, straight, flowing hair. All I see is what they call nigger naps. Is that what I'm seeing here? It is you, brothers and sisters. These are your ancestors. You were wondering where you came from, who your ancestors were. All of these things have been ripped from you. You've been destroyed. But the walls are telling the story. Even the walls in Egypt, when you look up slaves on the walls in Egypt, just go to Google, type in slaves on the walls in Egypt, then go to images, and you're going to see nothing but our hues. You will not see any Europeans there. These things tell you the story. Their movies have tricked us. This is depicting Masada. This is the last stronghold that the Romans came in and they conquered. He says they're going to besiege you in all thy gates. Lachish was one of the main Judahite cities. I believe, I'm not quite sure, but I believe that Masada was probably the last one to fall. And they fell to the Romans. The Father was not lying. This has come down all through history. We just didn't know about it because our history was wiped clean. Study your history, brothers and sisters. Remove all of the whiteness because all of that is a lie. End the siege. We're talking years of siege. The people are suffering. The children are dying. The old men cannot handle anymore. Their skin is turned black into the ground. The babies are malnourished. The mothers, the fathers, the children are malnourished. We don't have any food. We were eating pigeon dung and making soup from it. Then someone came up with the great idea. Let's eat the fruit of our own body. In the siege, in the straitness, in the lack and want of all things. Let's eat our children. Can you get any lower than this? Let me show you one of the accounts. 2 Kings chapter 6, verse 28 to 29. The king was walking around on the battlement. He wanted to have an eyewitness account of the siege, just to check, see how things were going. The siege had lasted for years. This is in the northern kingdom, in Samaria. A young lady approached him. Listen to the conversation, verse 28. And the king said unto her, What aileth thee? What's wrong with you? Why do you come to me like this? And she answered, This woman said unto me, Give thy son, that we may eat him today, and we will eat my son tomorrow. Here's this great idea to end their hunger. Verse 29. So we boiled my son, and did eat him. And I said unto her on the next day, Give thy son, that we may eat him. And she hath hid her son away. What a mess. The daughters of Zion, the children of Yasharal, we've stooped this low. All of this is because we just didn't hearken unto the voice of our master. How stupid can we be? What could have been in the minds of our people that we have gone this far? I'm going to tell you right now, the leadership. Those who let them astray. Watch who you allow to lead you. You have to try that spirit by which the person is coming in, by the Spirit of the Mighty One. Where do you find the Spirit of the Mighty One? It's in your book. That's how you can recognize whether the person is telling you the truth or a lie. Here's another account. Lamentations 4, verse 9 to 10. And lamentations mean mourning. They that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. For these pine away, stricken through for want of the fruits of the fields. Once the Father has sent the locust, the cankerworm, the palmer worm, has eaten up all of the fruits of the field. The enemy has come in. He's eaten up all the fruits of the field. Now they're in the siege. The writer here is saying it is better to be slain with the sword than to pine away with hunger. Verse 10. The hands of the pitiful women have sotten their own children. They were their meat in the destruction of the daughter of my people. Sotten is boiled. This is what happens when you come out of the covenant, of the hedge that the Father has built around us. We were protected from all sides, but we decided to go after their gods, their ways. Because we did that, we removed ourselves from Yahuwah, and we thought that we were sovereign all by ourselves. We forgot who gave us the land. We forgot who made the rain pour from the heavens. We forgot who held back the locust, the cankerworm, the palmer worm. We forgot who held all of our enemies at bay because he prepared a table before us in the presence of our enemies. Yet we went outside, and now we're suffering the penalties. All of this points towards you. These are your ancestors. Look at this. The Jewish Virtual Library. How many of you are familiar with the person or the general Tacitus? He was a Roman general. He wrote this. He didn't understand what he was looking at, so he had to write it down so he can convey it back to his emperor or whoever else was going to listen. Listen what he says. Many again say that they were a race of Ethiopian origin, who in the time of King Cepheus were driven by fear and hatred of their neighbors to seek a new dwelling place. Who is he talking about? The children of Yasharal, the children of Israel. What did he compare us to? The Ethiopians. Why? Because we are melanated. Who else compared us to the Ethiopians? Yahuwah. He said, didn't I say that you're like unto the Ethiopians, O children of Yasharal? It is you, brothers and sisters. They've hid this away from you for thousands of years, but it's all coming to the light now. We're regaining our strength, our power. Our minds are opening up. They can't stop it. This is what all the rhetoric that you see on television is all about. You think it's politics or so on. No. The enemy is stirring in the highest places. They know that their time is short because we are waking up. If you want to take back your sovereign capacity, your land, your own laws, ruling and governing yourself instead of being under the foot of these Europeans, turn back to Yahuwah, keep his laws, statutes, judgments, and commandments, and you will live. Continue to part 5. Shalom.